Okay, picture this. I think pretty much anyone listening has been there, or at least they fear being there. You're on the content treadmill. You are grinding. You post a video, maybe it's a reel, maybe a short, or this huge breakdown on YouTube, and for once, the algorithm gods actually smile on you. It just pops off.
That's the dream, right? The viral lottery ticket.
Right. You get the views, the likes are just, rolling in like a slot machine. You get that dopamine hit. You feel like a genius.
You finally cracked the
You
code.
feel like you've made it. You're checking your phone every 30 seconds. But then you wake up the next morning.
And the silence sets in.
It's deafening.
Hmm.
You look at your business dashboard, your Stripe account, and you realize you have absolutely nothing to show for all that noise.
It's like you threw a huge party.
Yeah. Everyone came, they drank your punch, they trashed your house, and then they left without even saying goodbye.
That is the classic creator dilemma. And honestly, looking at the data, it's more relevant in 2026 than it has ever been. We are drowning in content, we're drowning in metrics, but we are starving for actual connection, and I think more importantly, a business model that actually works.
Which brings us to the big question we're unpacking today. We've got a stack of sources here, industry reports, some really interesting psychology studies, marketing forecasts for 2026, and they're all debating a concept that frankly feels a little retro. We're talking about lead magnets.
The vintage strategy.
It feels so vintage. When I hear lead magnet, I don't think future. I think 2017. I think of those, aggressive download my free PDF pop-ups.
Oh, yeah. The ones that attack you on every blog post.
Exactly. I think spam, I think junk folder.
It definitely has a reputation problem. It feels like a relic from a simpler internet.
So I'm going into this with a healthy dose of skepticism. The core question for this deep dive is pretty blunt. Are lead magnets dead? Or, as some of these sources suggest, are they actually the secret weapon for 2026 that we've all been ignoring because we're too busy chasing views?
It's a fascinating debate, and looking at the source material we have, the answer is a very nuanced, no, they aren't dead, but the way we used to do them, that is absolutely buried.
Okay.
So the mission of this deep dive is to really dig into that tension between algorithm-based fame, those views and likes you mentioned, and actual audience ownership.
Ownership. That's the word that keeps coming up in the notes. Audience ownership. It sounds so serious. So let's start there. Why is there this sudden panic about ownership in 2026? Why isn't 1 million followers on TikTok enough anymore?
Well, just look at the landscape. Over the last few years, we've seen the extreme vulnerability of relying only on platforms. The sources call it the platform problem.
The platform problem.
Think about it. You spend years building a following on Instagram or TikTok or whatever the app of the month is. You're playing by their rules, but the sources are crystal clear on this. Algorithms do not care about you, the creator.
They care about the user.
They care about retention. They just care about keeping eyeballs on the screen for their advertisers. If your content does that, great. If it doesn't, you disappear.
And even if it does work, the rules can change tomorrow.
At any second.
It's basically digital sharecropping. You're farming land you don't own. The landlord can change the locks, raise the rent, or just kick you out whenever they feel like it.
Precisely. And we've seen it happen over and over. Instagram changes its focus, and suddenly your photo reach just dies. YouTube recommendations shift, and a channel getting 1 million views a month drops to 50,000 overnight. Or, and this is the worst case scenario from our reading, shadow banning. You're posting, you're doing the work, but literally nobody sees it. You are screaming into the void.
That's the nightmare scenario. You've done all the work, but the algorithm decides you just don't exist today. So the counter-argument here is email, which, again, feels like the really unsexy alternative.
It is definitely unsexy.
I mean, email is what I use to, argue with customer service, not where I go for fun.
And the sources argue that unsexy is exactly why it works. They describe email with 3 specific words: direct, yours, and stable. It's the only channel where if you have a list of 10,000 people and you hit send, 10,000 people actually get that message. There's no algorithm in the middle deciding if your content is engaging enough.
So it's about reliability.
It's about ROI, return on investment. The data in these reports it's staggering. Even in 2026, with all the new platforms and AI tools, email still has the highest ROI in digital business, by a lot. It's not flashy, but it's the engine, it's the plumbing in your house. You don't think about it until you need it, but nothing works without it.
Okay, let me play devil's advocate here, because I know what people listening are thinking. Nobody reads emails anymore. I mean, I have thousands of unread emails. Everyone lives on social media. We're scrolling TikTok, we're on Threads, we're watching YouTube. Isn't that where the attention is?
This is where we have to make a really critical distinction, and the sources are very specific about this. There's a huge difference between scrolling and buying.
Okay, unpack that for me.
Mhm.
Because I feel like I buy stuff on social sometimes.
Think about your own behavior, though. When
Mhm.
you're scrolling TikTok or Instagram, what's your mental state?
Dopamine hunting.
Yeah.
I'm bored. I want to be entertained. Turn my brain off.
Exactly. It's passive consumption. You are in what they call a lean back mode. You're letting the algorithm feed you. But when you open your email inbox, you're in a totally different state of mind. You're in management mode. You're looking for information. You're organizing your day. You're in a lean forward mode. And that is where commerce happens.
That is actually a really good point. I'm not buying a high-ticket course while I'm doom scrolling at 2 in the morning. But if I get an email about a tool I need when I'm in work mode, I might actually click on that.
That's it. The sources call this purchase intent. Social media is where you get discovered. It's the top of the funnel. It's the cocktail party. But every serious creator, business courses, coaching, physical products, whatever, the actual transaction usually happens through email. Social media is where attention leaks. Email is where trust compounds.
Okay, so if we accept that email is the stable ground, the owned land, we have to talk about how to get people there. Because like we said at the top, that old lead magnet strategy has a really bad reputation. The sources here call it the lazy lead magnet.
Yes, the lazy lead magnet, we've all seen them. The free ebook, that's just a 20-page Word doc with like terrible formatting and huge margins to make it look longer.
Or the generic PDF dump. Yeah, where someone just copies and pastes 5 of their old blog posts into a PDF, slaps a stock photo on the cover, and calls it the ultimate guide.
And what happens? Nobody reads it. You might get the email address, maybe, but you haven't built any trust. In fact, the sources argue you might have actually lost trust.
Because you wasted their time.
Right. The very first interaction they had with your exclusive content was a letdown. That's not a great way to start a relationship.
Yeah, that's not good. So the argument here is that in 2026, the bar has just been raised. A lot. Lead magnets aren't dead, but the bad ones are. The lazy ones are.
The audience is just too smart now. They know what a throwaway PDF looks like. The modern requirement is that it has to be interactive, specific, beautifully designed, and this is the key phrase, immediately useful.
Immediately useful. I like that. So what does that actually look like? The sources break down 3 winning formats for 2026. The first one is short premium PDFs. But wait, didn't we just say PDFs are dead?
Generic PDFs are dead. The distinction is the word premium. We're not talking about ebooks. No one wants to read a book on their phone. We're talking about tools. Workbooks, journals, playbooks, checklists, things that are active, not passive.
So less, here's 50 pages of theory, and more, here's a 1-page worksheet to solve your problem right now.
Correct. The standard has to be, I would actually pay for this, but I'm getting it for free. If you give away gold for free, people assume your paid stuff must be diamonds.
That makes sense. Okay, number 2, interactive quizzes. This one's interesting. I feel like quizzes had a moment with, like, BuzzFeed in 2015, but they're back.
They are back in a much more sophisticated way. This taps into our desire for personalization. A static PDF treats everyone the same. A quiz says, tell me about you, and I will guide you.
Oh, I get it. So instead of, here's a guide to fitness, it's, take this quiz to find your perfect workout plan.
Exactly. The engagement is way higher, and the perceived value is much higher because it feels tailored. Plus, you can segment your audience from day one. If they say they're a beginner, you send them beginner content. If they're advanced, you can sell them the masterclass.
That's smart. Really smart.
Yeah.
And finally, number 3, which the sources call the most powerful format, the email mini course. Why is this one the heavyweight champion?
Because it solves the consumption problem. When you download a PDF, there's a good chance it just sits in your downloads folder forever. We call it digital dust.
Guilty. I definitely have a folder full of those. I think there's a How to Learn Spanish PDF in there from like 4 years ago.
We all do. But an email mini course is active. It pushes the content to you over, say, 5 days. Day 1, you learn this. Day 2, you do that. It doesn't just turn a stranger into a subscriber. It builds a habit.
A habit.
The habit of opening your emails. For 5 days, you're training them to look for your name in their inbox.
That is so smart. It's like behavioral conditioning.
Exactly. And by the end of that week, if you've delivered real value, you have earned a huge amount of trust. And trust is what turns into clients. The value is the sequence itself.
Okay, so we've got the formats, premium workbooks, quizzes, mini courses. But, and here's the big but that I think stops everyone, this sounds like so much work.
It is a massive amount of work, or it used to be.
I mean, let's be real. Most creators are already burned out just trying to post on Instagram and YouTube. Now you're saying they also need to be a graphic designer, a copywriter, a tech expert.
I mean, you have to write a 5-day email script, build a landing page, connect all the tools.
I'm getting a headache just listing it all.
And that is the friction point. It's the main reason, according to the sources, that creators just stick to posting into the void. Building a proper funnel is a multi-day project. It's a workflow nightmare.
Yeah, I remember trying to set one up years ago and use like 3 different tools, Zapier to connect them all, and I still messed it up.
So we have this gap. We know email is crucial. We know it works, but the execution is just too hard. And this is where the source material introduces a solution that seems like a real game changer for 2026. They talk about high-quality automation.
You have to be careful with that word automation, right? Sometimes it just means spam robot.
Right. And this is not that. This is about using AI to collapse the entire creation process.
The specific tool mentioned is MagnetKit AI, but I want to focus on the workflow they describe because it sounds almost too good to be true.
It's pretty impressive. The workflow starts with existing content. This is the crucial part. You aren't starting from scratch. You take a YouTube video that did well, a blog post, even just a messy page of notes.
So you're repurposing what already worked. Smart.
Exactly. You input that content, and in what the source says is 2 to 3 minutes, it generates the whole ecosystem.
2 to 3 minutes, come on.
That's what it says. It analyzes the content and then generates the landing page copy. It designs the PDF workbook based on your key points. It creates the interactive quiz. And it writes the entire 5-day email follow-up course.
And it wires it all together.
Sets up the dashboard, everything.
That is wild. You're collapsing what used to be a 6-hour job, maybe even a 6-day job, into the time it takes to make a coffee.
And think about what that does. It completely removes the technical barrier. The excuse of, I don't know how to build a landing page, or I'm not a designer, just vanishes.
It changes the whole game. You can focus on the ideas, not fighting with software.
And it allows for something the sources call micro-funnels, which I find fascinating.
What's a microfunnel?
Well, in the old days, it was so hard to build a lead magnet that you'd just have one generic join my newsletter for everyone.
Right. Buried in the footer of your website.
But if it only takes 3 minutes, you can have a specific lead magnet for every single topic you talk about.
Oh, I see where this is going. So if I make a video about gardening, I can have a specific planting calendar lead magnet right there. Next week, a video about cooking, and I can offer a shopping list lead magnet.
Exactly. Boom, done. And that specificity is what drives conversions. A generic join my list converts at maybe 1%. A specific download the notes from this video can convert at 20 or 30%.
That is a massive difference. You're meeting people exactly where they are with exactly what they need in that moment.
And that's the whole shift. This brings us to the bigger picture. The sources argue the game has changed. It used to be about volume. Post 3 times a day, feed the beast.
The hamster wheel.
But now it's about conversion. We've reached peak content. We have not reached peak connection. The successful creators in 2026 are shifting from how many views can I get to how many owners can I capture?
The source mentions that every piece of content should have one of 2 jobs. I really liked this framework.
Yes. Job 1, build trust. Job 2, capture ownership. That's it. If your content isn't doing one of those 2 things, it's just noise. It's vanity.
And the lead magnet is the bridge.
It is the bridge that takes someone who trusts you a little bit and moves them across the moat into your own ecosystem.
I love that image of the moat. Your email list is your moat.
It's the deepest moat you can dig because, again, if TikTok gets banned or if the algorithm changes to favor AI-generated slime videos, which, let's be honest, could happen.
It's probably happening right. I saw 3 this morning.
Your email list is unaffected. You still have a business. You still have a direct line to your people. You are not dependent on the whims of Silicon Valley.
It really reframes the whole creator mindset. You're not just creating content. You're owning a community.
And the lead magnet isn't a freebie. It's a system. The winners aren't offering disconnected things. They are offering experiences, and they're using these new tools to build those systems instantly.
It's empowering, really. It takes the fear out of it. You just have to have something valuable to say.
And you have to be willing to ask for that connection. You have to value your audience enough to want to move them off rented land and into your own house.
So to wrap this all up, let's go back to the original question. Lead magnets.
Definitely not dead.
Not even close.
They've just evolved. They grew up. They went from lazy PDFs that waste time to Premium interactive experiences that actually solve problems.
And the barrier to building them has basically vanished.
Which leaves creators with no excuse, really. The tools are there, the strategy is clear, the only thing missing is the execution.
And that leads us to our final thought. The source material ends with a bit of a challenge for you, the listener. And it's a provocative one.
It is. The challenge is this. If you are posting content today without building a list, you are leaving your business in the hands of an algorithm that does not know you and does not care about you. You're building a castle on sand.
That is a sobering thought to leave you with. Are you a tenant or are you an owner?
And if you are ready to become an owner, the source did mention that MagnetKit AI is opening up for early beta testing.
Right. They said users can send one video, just one YouTube link, and the system will generate that first lead funnel for free. It's a chance to see just how fast this industry is moving.
It's worth a look, if only to see what high-quality automation actually feels like. Seeing what's possible in 3 minutes is a bit of a wake-up call.
Absolutely. Well, that's it for this deep dive. We hope this sparks some ideas for how you're going to own your audience in 2026.
Stop scrolling. Start building.
See you in the next one.